Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back tonight to the Online Sim Racing Network as we go back side by side with the Extreme Motorsports 99. And the Extreme Motorsports 99 tonight has the Active Pest Control 200 taking place. Active Pest Control 200, round 2 of 10, part of the Extreme Motorsports 99.com Camping World Track Series, season number 10, and brought to you in part by Advanced Simulation Products, specializing in custom button boxes. I'm commentator Sean Zulu, and joining me up in the booth is David Everly. How are you tonight, Dave?
Doing pretty good there, Sean.
Well, tonight we just came from Daytona International last week to Milwaukee Mile. That's right, this is a mile track that is 1.0 miles, ladies and gentlemen. And tonight the drivers going around for 175 laps. But let's take a recap from last week's race, the Extreme Motorsports 99.com Daytona 85. In that race, we had a QRS Motorsports driver bring it home, and he's a new driver as well, new addition this season. Randy Perdue came out first place, Greg Bradshaw came out second, Jamie Ronigan came out third, Christian DeFalco came out fourth, Hunter McDaniel fifth, Scott Mitten sixth, Octavio Rondoletto seventh. Actually, I'm reading it backwards. I apologize. Ronnie Purdy did win that race. Greg Bradshaw came out second. Hunter McDaniel came out third. Octavio Rondoletto came out fourth. Christian DeFalco came out fifth. Jamie Ronigan came out sixth. Ralph Vanderforst came out seventh. Scott Mitten came out eighth. Jay Pryor came out ninth. And Gary B. Whitson did round up the top 10. And now moving on to our current points standings, Randy Perdue is leading in points, but only 4 points ahead of second place driver. Well, in this case, second place drivers, we have Greg Bradshaw and Jamie Ronigan both tied for second place in points. We have 2 more drivers tied for third place, namely Christian DeFalco and Hunter McDaniel. We have Scott Mitten fourth, Octavio Rondoletto fifth, Ralph Vanderforst sixth, Jay Pryor 7th, Gary B. Whitson 8th. We have Dakota Craig and Jason Eisenhower 9th, and Jim Kelly in the 10th place position, and that rounds up the top 10 so far in the points. But keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, that was just one race, round number 1 of 10. So tonight we'll really shake these points up, because as of now, these points are pretty much, the drivers are either tied. Basically, the points here are just the drivers are spread out about 1 to 2 points, or maybe even tied, for that matter. Well, going to tonight's race here, the Active Pest Control 200 at the Milwaukee Mile. Here tonight we are dealing with a 71-degree Fahrenheit track temp, that is 71 degrees Fahrenheit, overcast with a 71-degree Fahrenheit air temperature, afternoon, and winds from the north at 7 miles per hour. And here, ladies and gentlemen, once again, 175 laps, and currently the drivers are qualifying. And get active in the chat. I see some drivers, viewers and drivers typing it up, so please get active. Gonna go to the top. We have Gillen Motorsports, that is Joshua Gillen. Welcome back, Joshua Gillen. It's great to see you. Yeah, we saw your message last week from Daytona, how you're going to bring your A++ game after not having the best luck at Daytona, man. So we look forward to seeing you having your first win right here and securing yourself a spot in the chase. Before too long, we have Pat T back. Welcome back, Pat T. Always a pleasure. Hope you're doing well tonight as well. And Jacob Bell is back. Welcome back, Jacob Bell. It is great to see you. This track is going to be tough. Yeah, it's going to be very interesting, man. The viewers out there, the drivers running 28 to 29, even 30-second lap times, just depending on tire wear. And ladies and gentlemen, tonight's post sitter is 74. That's 74 of Greg Bradshaw. 72, Alex Kingsbury second. 98, Dakota Craig third. We have the 3-0 of Ken Huber fourth. Tyler Holman fifth. Christian DeFalco sixth. We have Jay Pryor 7th, Gary B. Whitson 8th, Jamie Ronigan 9th, Travis Pryor 10th, Cody McFadden 11th, Bryce Whitson Jr. 12th, 88 of John Sterling 13th, Tommy Haynes 14th, Scott Mitten 15th, Curtis Vollmer 16th, Hunter McDaniel, season 9 champion here with the track series, and this season's defending champion 17th, Randy Perdue, last week's winner 18th, David Elliott 19th, and Brandon Ketchum in the 20th place spot. 00 of Nick Hunt 21st, Bobby Tinch 22nd, Ralph Van Force, Mr. Highside himself 23rd, Jacob Bell 24th, Chris Voiles 25th, Garrett Helmlinger 26th, Joshua Gillen 27th, Tommy Amasi 29th, Jeffrey Gillum 29th, Tommy Amasi 28th, Jeffrey Gillum 29th, Kerry Cleaver 30th, Jason Eisenhower 31st, Timothy Hamlet 32nd, Gary Woobot 33rd, Adam Eisenhower 34th, and last driver qualifying 71 of Chris Thorman. But tonight we have the 91 of Robert O'Neill, we have Pedro Jose Luis Buyones, we have Ken Ladd, and Jim Kelly rounding up the rest of the field, giving us about 39 to 40 drivers starting tonight's race. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a short track. With that said, we're going to be seeing a lot more side-by-side than ever before. A lot of bumper-to-bumper action is going to be going on all night long. And we're going to most likely see very few undamaged machines, undamaged or unscratched machines. Because keep in mind, robbing is racing, especially when it comes to such close racing that's going to be taking place before too long. So please, buckle up and enjoy the ride. And that pace car dips off, the green flag is out, and Greg Bradshaw finds the gas pedal. Kingsbury so far trying to play catch up on the outside line, but 98 of Dakota Craig to his inside. Nope, Kingsbury tosses it into the inside line and clears Dakota Craig successfully. We are green flag racing, lap number 1 of 175. Active Pest Control 200, round 2 of the Extreme Motorsports 99.com Camping World Truck Series, brought to you by the Advanced Simulation Products, specializing in custom button boxes. Up front, we have Alex Kingsbury getting around 74 of Greg Bradshaw successfully, and off the exit of turn number 2. Bradshaw bumped down to second place, and in third place here so far we have the 98 of Dakota Craig, Gillen Motorsports driver, being approached by the 77 of Tyler Holman. And with this being a short track, ladies and gentlemen, these tires are going to go away like no man's business. With that said, we're going to be seeing a lot of tire management going on. So far we see some drivers trying to take while they can, because they know once they cannot take any more, well, once those tires go, it's going to become extra difficult, or I should say in this case nearly impossible to take. So they are trying to take advantage of it as we speak, and so far Tyler Holman doing just that on the front stretch. And for the back in the pack, we have Dakota Craig getting freight trained now by the 30 of Ken Huber. Actually cleared him successfully off the exit of turn number 2. But we have 07 of Christian DeFalco as well, making moves, just overtook 2 drivers, Gary Whitson and Travis Pryor. And now DeFalco's next victim is his teammate, the 59 of Jamie Ronigan with Lucron Automotive. And going for the back in the pack, we have the 57 of Hunter McDaniel, Maverick Motorsports driver, already with a dent in the rear end. His next victim so far being his biggest opponent from last season, 48, of Curtis Vollmer. And Curtis Vollmer in turn is now trying to hunt down the 88 of John Sterling. A big cluster being formed. John Sterling, Randy Perdue, Scott Mitten, Bryce Whitson, and the 13 of Gary Whitson. And these two teammates here, Bryce Whitson Jr. and Gary B. Whitson, being shown 12th and 13th place. Actually, scratch that, 11th and 12th place. And actually looks like that lap there, Gary B. Whitson was able to get around Bryce Whitson Jr., bumping him down one spot. And now this cluster is getting nothing but close to 48 of Vollmer to the inside of 88 of Sterling. Well, he's trying to apply that pressure to John Sterling, but John Sterling here so far holding his own. Made a mistake on the exit of turn number 4, but still not enough for Curtis Vollmer to benefit from it. And a new driver here, standby driver 41 of Pedro Jose Luis Buyones in the 41 machine right now, behind the 36 of Jason Eisenhower. Oh, big wreck entering turn 327. Yeah, I got a piece of the action. Was it 27? No, that was a 12 of Brandon Ketchum, spun out sideways with some heavy damage on the machine.
Yeah, it looks like that's going to be between the 12 and the 91. There's the 91 got down underneath of him and made contact with that rear quarter panel. That sent the 12 around in the turn there. Actually, it looked like a little bit of net code there, but that is going to bring out our first caution of the night.
Oh, absolutely, man. Yeah, very unfortunate for both drivers involved in that, especially the 12 of Brandon Ketchum getting the worst end of that deal right there. And also the 91, actually, there. Robert O'Neill did get quite a piece of it, too. But he should be able to still keep up quite well despite that. But Brandon Ketchum might be forced to use his backup track wheel. Scratch that. This is a short track, ladies and gentlemen. So Brandon Ketchum should be fine once he goes down pit road and let his pit crew work on that machine the best that they possibly could, so that he can possibly probably save that machine for a rainy day. But going back up front, Alex Kingsbury, the leader up front, leading everybody down pit road. And with only 10 laps in, ladies and gentlemen, and drivers pitting in, basically the majority of the field is on pit road. More than half the field is on pit road. That lets you know just how bad the tire fall off is. And drivers staying out, we have 00 Nick Hunt, Jacob Bell, Scott Mitten, and Tommy Haynes, including Joshua Gillen, all staying out. So 5 drivers stayed out and the rest of the field went down pit road. And here off the exit of turn number 4, the 00 of Nick Hunt should get the should get the lead officially this time around. Yep, the updated top 10, ladies and gentlemen. Nick Hunt is the new leader on lap number 12. Jacob Bell 2nd, Tommy Haynes 3rd, Scott Mitten 4th, Bryce Whitson Jr. 5th, Greg Bradshaw 6th, Jay Pryor 7th, Tyler Holman 8th, Jamie Ronigan 9th, and Ken Huber in the 10th place spot, so far rounding up the top 10. And the season is still young, ladies and gentlemen, but these drivers trying to secure themselves into the chase coming up in the next 8 races. Well, after 8 races from now, in this case. So, for instance, in the case of last week's winner, Randy Perdue, he's locked into the chase already. So he's going to try and stay up there to try and, basically make the most races, because you do have to make 8 of the 10 races to be eligible for the chase. And going back up front, Nick Hunt, the leader here behind the pace car. We are back 1 to green, being led by Nick Hunt with the help of Tommy Haynes on the inside. The outside line being led by Jacob Bell with the help of the 5-0 of Scott Mitten. And Jacob Bell came a long way from the 24th place spot to second, gaining 22 spots this far. Nick Hunt from 21st place to first. Tommy Haynes from 14th to 3rd, and Scott Mitten from 15th to 4th. But keep in mind, the top 5 drivers stayed out. Exiting turn 4, pace car dips off, green flag is out, and Nick Hunt finds the gas pedal. But now on the outside line, Jacob Bell was caught sleeping enough for 17 of Tommy Haynes to occupy his inside. Well, scratch that. Tommy Haynes gets bumped from the rear. He goes sideways, entering turn 1, back on the track, big wreck. Exiting turn 2, the big junk on turn 2. Is the caution gonna fly? The caution flies once again. Big junk, exit of turn 2.
Well, as we go back here to the replay, we see Tommy Haynes get bumped and just everybody bunched up, so a lot of trucks involved in that. That is a massive wreck right there, Sean.
Oh, indeed, man. Just going over some drivers who got a piece of that action. Tyler Holman, Jamie Runnigan, heavy smoke from the rear end. We had Hunter McDaniel. We had Christian DeFalco, Tommy Haynes, Randy Perdue, Kerry Cleaver, Cody McFadden, Garrett Helmling, Curtis Vollmer, David Elliott, Adam Eisenhower, Octavia Rondoletto, Jeffrey Gillum, Scott Brooks, Jim Kelly, Brandon Ketchum, Ralph Vanderforst, Chris Voiles, Robert O'Neill, Gary Woobot, Jason Eisenhower, Timothy Hamlet, Chris Thorman, Pedro Jose Luis Buyones, Joshua Gillen, Tommy Emasi. Every single one of those drivers I just mentioned got a piece of that action once again. The big junk on lap 14. Well, that just means one thing. Pit road is going to get nothing but busier. And unfortunately, most of the drivers involved in that incident who have no choice but to use up their only backup trucks. Their only backup truck. In this case, they only have one. So, and as we speak, we have more than half the field on pit road. Actually, half the field on pit road and half the field on the racing surface. But pit road still getting busier by the lap. And one driver going around the pace car, getting back a lead lap. That is 36 of Jason Eisenhower. And Jason Eisenhower still rocking the Sims Shop paint scheme. A very well dressed Silverado. Up front, we are still being led by Nick Hunt, Jacob Bell second, Scott Mitten third, Jay Pryor fourth, and Greg Bradshaw in the 5th place spot. Here, but then also the top 3 drivers now having 17 laps on their tires and tanks, namely Nick Hunt, Jacob Bell, and Scott Mitten. But that's not going to make too big of a difference just yet. And let's status check on some of the drivers who got a piece of the action. Octavio Rondoletto, that's Octavio Rondoletto with a brand new machine. Curtis Vollmer in the exact same situation. Cody McFadden in the exact same situation. Christian DeFalco as well with a brand new machine. Yep, they have used up their backup trucks early on with 14 laps in. So hopefully they're able to stay clean for the rest of the way. And you saw it firsthand right there, ladies and gentlemen, when a wreck happens up front like that, especially on a small track like this, it collects the rest of the field. In that case, the majority of the field gets collected because they have nowhere to go. And we are back one to green here, still being led by Nick Hunt, now with the help of the 5-0 Scott Mitten. The outside line being led by Jacob Bell with the help of the 8-0 of Jay Pryor. We are going green this time around. Exiting turn number 4, pace car dips off the green flag, flies. Nick Hunt finds the gas pedal, but this time Jacob Bell sees it coming in time to maintain second place. But third place, battle between the 8-0 of Jay Pryor and the 50 of Scott Mitten, side by side. A battle for the race lead as well is taking place as we speak between Nick Hunt and Jacob Bell, side by side throughout the backstretch, entering turn 3. Oh, the caution flies this time around on lap number 19. Gonna see what happened. Looks like that involved the 77 of Tyler Harmon. Oh, it happened up front, started up front between the 12 of Brandon Ketchum and the 86 of Adam Eisenhower.
I'm not going to be able to catch that, Sean, so no replay on that yellow right there.
Oh, 10-4, brother. Well, that's very unfortunate for the drivers involved, and we're just going to talk about the incident there. I was contacts between the 12 of Brandon Ketchum and the 86 of Adam Eisenhower. Actually, some 3-wide action was taking place, and they ran out of room to make it stick. So that involved Adam Eisenhower, Pedro Luis, Buyones, Brandon Ketchum again, unfortunately, Garrett Helmlinger, DeFalco, including the 61 of Chris Thorman, Jeffrey Gillum, and the 77 of Tyler Harmon all got a piece of the action to initiate that incident. Well, going back up front, we are still being led by Nick Hunt, who was being challenged by Jacob Bell for the race lead before the caution had flown. So Jacob Bell still maintaining second place, Scott Mitten third, Jay Pryor fourth, and Greg Bradshaw rounding up the top 5. And a driver getting the wave on the lucky dog around the pace car. That is the 41 of Pedro Jose Luis Buyones. Back on the lead lap. Yes, back on the lead lap this time around on lap 22. So congrats to 41 of Pedro Jose. And ladies and gentlemen, our producer tonight, David Everly, not feeling 100%. So let's wish him the best of luck in a speedy recovery so he can be back to normal in no time. And ladies and gentlemen, with 22 laps in, the heaviest movers this far, we have Nick Hunt, Jacob Bell from below the 20th place spot, Bobby Tinch from 22nd place to 8th. We have the Randy Purdy from 18th place to 11th. And further down here in this list, the heaviest mover so far, Octavio Rondoletto, from 39th to 16th, well, not really the heaviest, but one of the heaviest movers. That's going to be Octavio Rondoletto from 39th place to 16th. Jason Eisenhower from 31st place to 18th. And we are back 1-2 green, ladies and gentlemen, still being led by Nick Hunt with the help of the 5-0 Scott Mitten. The outside line being led by Jacob Bell with the help of 8-0 of Jay Pryor. Pretty much the same restart as the last one. Everybody getting botched up nice and strong, nice and tight, going green this time around. The pace car dips off, the green flag is out, and Nick Hunt missed the shift. Enough for the insides to get stalled, but the outside line now is the place to be. Actually, I seem to be having some connection problems. I apologize. I'll be right back as soon as I get them fixed. I apologize once again.
Well, it looks like we are under caution. Let's see if I can figure out exactly what happened here. See if we can see what brought out the caution. Ooh, the 99 into the 74 there, coming into the turn, a few trucks around. So that's definitely gonna shake things up here a bit. Do apologize. Sean is having some technical difficulties, and I am under the weather, so I do apologize. But we is trying to get this back up here as we are under our 4th caution here tonight. Pit road definitely busy here on our 4th caution of the night. Taking a look here, we are on lap 28, 148 laps to go here tonight. Definitely seems these drivers are having their hands full here with the mile here at Milwaukee.
Oh, there we go. I got everything back to normal, fortunately enough. And yeah, man, we had a viewer there, a viewer and a driver in the chat. Jacob Bell was making a comment about this track being a tough one. So, yep, this, ladies and gentlemen, is a driver's track. So it's going to make things extra interesting, and it just might become a survival of the fittest race in the long run. As a result of the incidents, we have only 33 drivers of 40 who started tonight's race. So 33 of 40 drivers on the lead lap. And the first driver 1 lap down is Pedro Jose Luis Buyones. 1 lap down, Jim Kelly 1 lap down. So both drivers 1 lap down. Race for the lucky dog for the if another caution comes out. Kerry Cleaver, Jamie Ronigan, and Jeffrey Gillum all 3 laps down. And we have Jeffrey Gillum. Oh, sorry, it's going to be Jamie Ronigan, Scott Brooks, and Kerry Cleaver 2 laps down. Jeffrey Gillum 5 laps down, and Chris Voss unfortunately has retired for the evening early on with 29 laps in. And the bad thing about this track being 1 mile in length, ladies and gentlemen, is that getting lapped is very, very easy for those drivers who like to take it easy in the beginning of the races and push it towards the very end. If they ride for too long, they are most likely going to go a lap down in no time, because keep in mind, the drivers tonight running for 29 to 30 and 31 second lap times. That is very, very quick, as we are back now, 1 to green. And actually some bad news. We have lost 2 drivers already. 59 of Jamie Ronigan with I forget the team name, Lucron Automotive. Yeah, there we go. Lucron Automotive, Jamie Ronigan, and Chris Voyles with the Bandit Motorsports Racing Team have retired for the evening. We look forward to seeing them back again next week for Kansas. And we are back 1 to green here, being led by the 8-0 Jay Pryor with the help of Ken Huber. Outside line being led by Jacob Bell with the help of Nick Hunt on the outside. Pace car is off, the green flag is out, and 8-0 of Jay Pryor gets a very, very great restart against the 3-0 of Ken Huber and the 7 of Jacob Bell, who are going side by side as we speak. Ken to the inside, Bell to the outside. Bell falls short of the exit of turn number 2. Well, scratch that momentum shift to the outside line and a drag race before turn 3. Ken Huber is able to edge out Jacob Bell and clears him successfully off the exit of turn number 4, bumping Jacob Bell down to 3rd place. But Jacob Bell not in the clear just yet. 5-0 Scott Mitten, 48. That was Nick Hunt, sorry. 88 of John Sterling and 64 McFadden right behind. And the caution flies this time around on lap 32. Gonna see what happened.
That is going to be the 72 of Alex Kingsbury going around. We're going to focus on the 72 of Alex Kingsbury. Looks like he got hard in the brakes, missed the truck in front of him, just spun it around. Didn't hit the wall just enough to bring out. I do believe that's our 5th caution here tonight.
Oh man, yeah, it's very unfortunate for Alex Kingsbury, but nice save, man. Yeah, looks like it was a difference in our braking points. There, Alex went in way too hot and slammed on those brakes and upset the machine and brought the back end around, but nice save. He keeps that machine unscratched, and it's good to fight for a couple of more laps for the rest of the race, hopefully here in this case. And yep, that's going to be our 5th caution of the evening. And we have a new viewer in the chat. Long time no see. Timothy Petito in the chat. Welcome back, Timothy. It's been way, way, way too long. Over 6 months, I believe. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well. And the majority of the field deciding to stay out under this caution, while the other half ended up, well, less than half went down pit road. So Jay Pryor still in the lead. Jacob Bell 2nd, Scott Mitten 3rd, Nick Hunt 4th, Ken Huber 5th, rounding up the top 5. And the 41 of Pedro Jose gets the wave around the pace car back on the lead lap this time around. And unfortunately, we've lost one more driver tonight, the 61 of Jeffrey Gillum, calling it a night. And tonight we haven't spoken much of the 66 of Bobby Tinch, but Bobby Tinch has been moving up ever since the drop of the green flag on lap number 1. He's currently in the 8th place spot behind Hunter McDaniel after starting in the 22nd place position. In a status check on Hunter McDaniel, he had some damage in the rear end in the very beginning of the race, but got that fixed. Basically got the brand new machine. Unfortunately got a piece of the action in one of the, actually the big chunk of the exit of turn 2 early on in the race. And up ahead of him is the 88 of John Sterling with a big dent in the rear. But the good thing about this track, ladies and gentlemen, a short track like this, a beat-up truck is not totally useless like it would be at a track like Atlanta, Charlotte Motor Speedway, or Daytona, Talladega. So these guys are in luck tonight. And we are back 1 to green, still being led by Jay Pryor with the help of 50 Scott Mitten. The outside line still being led by Jacob Bell with the help of Nick Hunt on the outside. Exiting turn 4, everybody in second gear to avoid that deadly wheel spin in first gear. The pace car dips off. The green flag is out, and Jay Pryor gets another great restart against Jacob Bell and Scott Mitten. And Jacob Bell as well in time was able to get a good restart in time to maintain second place against Nick Hunt. Oh man, a big checkup on the outside line between Nick Hunt and John Sterling. But no harm done. We are still green flag racing. They did make contact, but once again, no harm. Well, no harm done to Nick Hunt, but a lot of harm done to John Sterling. He did lose a lot of time and speed against Nick Hunt, and a spot to the 64 of McFadden as a result of the contact. To the back in the pack, 39 of Octavio Rondoletto on the inside of Bobby Tinch. Crossover by Bobby Tinch. Nope, not enough to make it work. And Octavio Rondoletto is going to get bumped up to 9th place spot. Bobby Tinch down to 10th place this time around. Octavio has moved up 30 spots. That is 30 spots in only 39 laps. Very, very impressive. And now his next victim, 48 of Curtis Vollmer. Speaking of Curtis Vollmer, Vollmer now on the inside of the 88 of John Sterling, side by side. Seems like everybody who's getting stuck on the outside line is getting freight trained. So ladies and gentlemen, gonna sing a lot of single file on the inside with the caution flies this time around. Gonna see what happened.
That's gonna be the 23 of Jim Kelly, I think it is. He's up on his roof. Let's see if we can see exactly what happened to him. Coming through the turn, he just goes straight into the outside wall, blows his motor, and is trying to get off of the track, gets into the grass, not able to get slowed down, and he's gonna come right back on the track, make contact with another truck, and then up on his roof he goes.
Oh man, absolutely, yeah, man. Watching from his cockpit here on my end, he was accelerating while turning the wheel. He was carrying way too much speed, and that machine did not rotate. And that's very unfortunate indeed for Jim Kelly. Hopefully, he still has his backup truck, so he can be able to get back on the racing surface and, you know, really compete against these drivers. But as we speak, he is getting towed down to pit road. Going back up front, still being led by Jay Pryor, Jacob Bell second, Scott Mitten third, Nick Hunt fourth, and Cody McFadden in the 5th place spot. And the top 10 drivers, that's top 10 drivers: Jay Pryor, Jacob Bell, Scott Mitten, Nick Hunt, Cody McFadden, Hunter McDaniel, Curtis Vollmer, John Sterling, Bobby Tinch, and Bryce Whitson Jr. have not pitted in. And most of these drivers are saving gas as we speak, turning those machines off or even clutching them in to try and maximize the fuel economy. As one driver gets the wave around the pace car, that was the 43 of Scott Brooks. Scott Brooks was 2 laps down, but now back to 1 lap down. Congratulations. Oh, and absolutely, Patty, yep, Octavio Rondoletto seems to know exactly what he's doing, and he's been moving up a lot all race long. Seems like wherever he puts that machine, it does stick and does a lot of damage in terms of competition. So watch out for Rondoletto. Fingers crossed. And next week, ladies and gentlemen, we are traveling to a new track, a different track. Kansas Speedway for the Samson Motorsports 144. That's the Samson Motorsports 144, round 3 of 10 at Kansas Speedway. And that too is a driver's track. So these drivers will have no choice but to, keep their guard up. To be successful there as well. And we are back 1 to green, still being led by Jay Pryor with the help of Scott Mitten, Jacob Bell on the outside with the help of Zero, Nick Hunt. We are going green. And these drivers have to be very, very careful here on these restarts, because those wheels do end up spinning. And once they do end up spinning way too much, they just might end up losing control and might cause the biggest junk known to mankind. We exit turn 4 going green. This time around, pace car dips off, the green flag flies, and Jay Pryor again, great restart against Jacob Bell, who was caught sleeping, but still somehow maintains 2nd place against 50 of Scott Mitten. And Scott Mitten now bumps up into 3rd place against the 0 of Nick Hunt. A battle already going on between Hunter McDaniel and the 48 of Curtis Vollmer, side by side. Hunter McDaniel, the odd man out, getting freight trained here as we speak. He's trying to get a grip. He's trying to get back in the race groove on the inside line, but so far having no luck. It just might get worse for him before it gets better. Next in line is John Sterling, and next behind him is Bobby Tinch. Off the exit of turn 2, Hunter McDaniel was able to secure a spot between Sterling and Tinch. And further back in the pack, a driver back from the dead. That is the 5 of Randy Perdue. Randy Perdue, QRS Motorsports driver here, is in the 12th place spot behind his next victim, 13 of Gary Whitson. And some side-by-side going on behind Randy Perdue between 86 of Adam Eisenhower and the 30 of Ken Huber. Yep, seems like everybody on the outside line seems to be getting freight trained. Oh, more contact between the 72 of Alex and 30 of Ken Huber. A big wreck entering turn number 1, and the caution flies. Let's back it up on Alex Kingsbury and see what happened.
Looks like maybe just a difference in braking points. Contact. Huber on the inside wall, comes right back out on the track. Highly unfortunate, but I mean, it's part of short track racing there, Sean.
Oh, absolutely, man. These drivers racing way too close for comfort. But indeed, very unfortunate for both drivers involved in that. And in the case, in the case of the 30 of Ken Huber, moving sideways on the racing surface, the machine is damaged. The steering wheel is, the steering is damaged, and he has to keep it. He has to turn left 90 degrees to keep the machine going straight, but as we speak, he is still rolling, trying to go down a pit road, and hopefully he still has a backup truck. Oh, in the case of the 72 of Alex Kingsbury, he actually blew his motor on impact. So I'm not sure whether or not he uses backup truck already. I do not remember him using his backup truck, but hopefully he still has it handy so he can be able to get back out there and you know, spank these boys. And we had 42 of David Elliott get a piece of the action. Garrett Helmling got a piece of the action as well. And a couple of other drivers as well, looks like. Tommy Haynes, Scott Brooks as well got a piece of the action. So actually that collected more than just those two drivers, Huber and Kingsbury. And we have a driver getting the wave around the pace car. That's the lucky dog around the pace car, the 69 of Kerry Cleaver. Kerry Cleaver back to 1 lap down from 2 laps down. Congratulations. And going back up front, the top 10 drivers still staying out. Jay Pryor, Jacob Bell, Scott Mitten, Nick Hunt, Cody McFadden, Curtis Vollmer, Hunter McDaniel, John Sterling, Bobby Tinch, including Bryce Whitson Jr., all now having 51 laps on their tires and tanks. Oh, and some good news. We just got some intel from the chat there. Our current leader here in tonight's race, Jay Pryor, was able to pull off a win last night in the Extreme Motorsports 99.com Pro Can-N Series. So congrats to Jay Pryor. They're trying to go for a double win last night and tonight. That would be something. That's going to be quite the week. I guess in this case, that would be quite the week. Haven't spoken much of the 86 of Adam Eisenhower. That same speed shop Chevy Silverado currently behind the 5 of Randy Perdue and ahead of a 39 of Octavio Rondoletto. And we are now back 1 to green, and some bad news, we have lost one more driver. 23 of Jim Kelly has retired for the evening. We look forward to seeing this driver back next week with Tyler Holman, Jamie Ronagan, Chris Voss, and Jeffrey Gillum at Kansas Speedway. And the status check on the Lucron Automotive driver, Alex Kingsbury. Yes, Kingsbury had a brand new machine. His backup truck still handy. So he's back on the racing surface, but 2 laps down. So he'll be trying to get those 2 laps back before too long. But going back up front, still being led by Jay Pryor on the inside line, exiting turn 4 as we speak. The green flag is out, and Jay Pryor once again gets an amazing restart against Jacob Bell, who's now being challenged by the 5-0 of Scott Mitten side by side. Scott Mitten sideways there a little bit between turns number 1 and 2, but still able to edge out Jacob Bell, who as well got loose on the exit of turn number 2 on the outside line, and that bumps Jacob Bell down to 3rd place. Scott Mitten up to 2nd place, but crossover engaged by Jacob Bell against Scott Mitten. Side by side was scratch that. Mitten back down to 3rd place, and Jacob Bell back in 2nd. Textbook pass by Jacob Bell. But now that puts Scott Mitten in a very, very bad spot. He's left out high and dry, getting freight train got overtaken by 48 of Curtis Former. And now his next opponent is 57 of Hunter McDaniel, side by side. And ladies and gentlemen, a new viewer in the chat, we have Evo PC Gaming back. Welcome back, Evo PC Gaming. We just got some intel from Evo PC. The 23 of Jim Kelly had a malfunction with his gas pedal, just stuck to the floor and could not release. Unfortunately, that's exactly why he was accelerating during the turn and caused the himself to get that amount of damage. That's very unfortunate. Hopefully, he can be able to get that fixed and back again next week at Kansas Speedway, man. That's so very sorry to hear about that. Sorry about that. And the 5 Randy Purdue side by side with the 88 of John Sterling, both suffering from some damage on these machines, both driving Silverados on the outside line. John Sterling trying to get to the inside, which is the faster way around the racing surface here with 56 laps into tonight's race. But looks like Sterling was able to, Purdue was able to get around John Sterling and maintain the 12th place spot. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get a poll going in the chat. Let's try and estimate how many cars you think will get out of this race without a single scratch on them. So once again, try and estimate how many cars you think are gonna get out of this race without a single scratch. For the back in the pack, 98 of Dakota Craig making some moves. Just got around 2 drivers before one of the turns. Jason Eisenhower and Tommy Haynes. And now here, Tommy Haynes is actually losing some spots left and right. Not sure if his damage is actually affecting that machine negatively, unfortunately. Yeah, he has some damage on the left front and the right front. Yeah, he keeps dropping like a rock, and he's losing time lap after lap. Yep, we have Evo PC Gaming and Timothy Petito both guessing 0 drivers getting out of this race unharmed. Any more guesses? Oh man, the caution flies. Big wreck entering turn number 1 involving Bobby Tinch and the 5 of Randy Purdue. Gonna see what happened.
I think that's going to start with the 66 machine. Not sure what happened. Oh, Purdue get into the back of him, and then he just went plowing. Let's see if we can get some in-car with the 66 of Bobby Tinch on that one. That's enough to make you dizzy.
Indeed. And yep, that's going to be another wreck or another incident caused by a difference in braking points. And you know, these machines do not have any tail lights, ladies and gentlemen. They have decals, but no actual tail lights. So the only way, once again, to know when the driver in front of you is braking or was braking is once you find yourself in the passenger seat of their machine. That's the only way. Other than that, I don't think there is really a way when you're racing that hard and that close at the exact same time. But going back up front, Jay Pryor still in the race lead. Hunter McDaniel second, Curtis Vollmer third, Cody McFadden fourth, and Jacob Bell in the fifth place spot. And this time we have a lot of drivers, majority of the field, going down pit road. And a wave around the pace car, the lucky dog by the 43 of Scott Brooks. Scott Brooks back on the lead lap on lap 62. Yep, very, very rough night for most of the drivers out there. This track is not the easiest track there is. We have Evo PC there saying he would rather race Bristol than this track. Man, yeah, Bristol as well is quite the track. It is a handful, but man, yeah, that's that's pretty interesting. But yep, tonight, not most drivers' night. So far, we have only 31 drivers on the lead lap, with Kerry Cleaver in the 69 being the first driver, the first and only driver, one lap down. Unspoken match of the 81 of Travis Pryor tonight. Travis Pryor, the second ever champion of the Extreme Motorsports 99.com Pro K&N Series, season number 2, last season in the Pro K&N Series. And currently here tonight, running in the 6th place position behind the 36 of Jason Eisenhower. So we have 3 Maverick Motorsports drivers in the top 10. Jay Pryor, Hunter McDaniel, and Travis Pryor. Well, we are back 1 to green, still being led by Jay Pryor with the help of Curtis Vollmer. The outside line being led by Hunter McDaniel with the help of the 3-0 of Ken Huber. Absolutely, Tim, absolutely. Let us kick it. Entering turn number 4, going green this time around. And Jay Pryor has been on these restarts like fudge cake on Sunday. Very unstoppable with these restarts. On these restarts, the pace car dips off. The green flag is out, and Jay Pryor gets a very good restart. But Hunter McDaniel is able to secure second place. Well, not quite. He chops the nose off of 48 of Curtis Vollmer. And Curtis is not just going to stay in the 3rd place spot for now. 3-0 of Ken Huber. Ken Huber trying to approach the 48 of Curtis Vollmer. Ken Huber had some bad luck there early on in the race, was forced to use his backup truck, but now has been back ever since, and back with quite the vengeance, and has been taking names. He's currently in the 4th place spot where he first started, and his next victim once again being the 48 of Curtis Vollmer, but ahead of the 81 of Travis Pryor. Ken Huber trying to make some moves against Curtis Vollmer, trying to play some mind games, but Curtis not falling for it. Actually off turn number 4, side by side between Curtis Vollmer and Huber. They are going at it, entering turn number 1. Huber drives it in deep, and crossover attempted by Vollmer, but not enough to make it stick. So there Curtis got bumped down to 4th place by Huber. And a battle going on between the 64 of Cody McFadden and the 7 of Jacob Bell. Yeah, McFadden has been able to actually new driver to the top 5. Cody McFadden, and bumps down Jacob Bell to 6th. Jacob Bell left high and dry. It just might get worse for him before it gets better. Well, scratch that. He's been able to secure a 7th place spot between Nick Hunt and Bryce Whitson. Well, ladies and gentlemen, with 68 laps into tonight's race and 107 laps left, gonna take our first commercial break of the evening. We'll be right back, so please stay tuned.
Don't let your first date be your last. Visit People Against Distracted Driving at PADD.org.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Active Pest Control 200. That's the Active Pest Control 200, round 2 of 10, part of the ExtremeMotorsports99.com Camping World Truck Series, brought to you by the Advanced Simulation Products, specializing in custom button boxes. Well, going back to tonight's race here at the Milwaukee Mile, we are still being led by Jay Pryor, Hunter McDaniel 2nd, Ken Huber 3rd, Cody McFadden 4th, Nick Hunt 5th, Curtis Vollmer 6th, John Sterling 7th, Travis Pryor 8th, Scott Mitten 9th, and Jacob Bell in the 10th place position. And we are now 79 laps in and 97 laps remaining, so not even halfway done. And here up front, Jay Pryor is about 7/10ths of a second ahead of the 57 Hunter McDaniel, his teammate. And we have the 7 of Jacob Bell. Jacob Bell seems to be having some difficulty with that machine. Looks like the tires are gone. And for the back in the pack, two teammates going at it side by side. Bryce Whitson Jr. and Gary B. Whitson. Bryce Whitson to the outside. No, Jacob Bell goes out of the exit. Turn number 4. He saves it. Yes, he saves it. Oh, man. But a lot of time lost and 3 spots lost to Timothy Hamlet, Gary Whitson, and Bryce Whitson. Oh, the caution flies this time around. Gonna see what happened.
I think that's going to start with the 39 and the 98 here as we pull up the OSR network replay here. See if we can get a closer view here of what happened. Actually started in front with the 39, so let's see if I can get focused on him here. Oh, bad neck code there between the 39 and the 5. Fortunately, the 98 Dakota Craig hard into the 39. Let's take another look at that. I mean, that was a bad neck code there. They weren't even close to touching there, Sean.
Oh man, absolutely, and that's very unfortunate for especially the 5 of Purdue, who was forced to use his backup track early on. Oh man, also 98 of Dakota Craig gets a piece of the action, so both Octavia Rondoletto and 98 of Dakota Craig with some heavy smoke on these machines. And Dakota, I believe, used his backup track already. It's going to shake things up for sure. Well, up front, we are being led by a new leader, Cody McFadden, Nick Hunt 2nd, Jay Pryor 3rd. Well, that just changed because a lot of drivers pitted in, and Jay Pryor did pit in and give up the race lead. So that it's going to still keep McFadden in 1st place, and Nick Hunt should maintain 2nd place. So this time we had Jay Pryor pit in, Hunter McDaniel, Ken Huber, Curtis Vollmer, John Sterling, Travis Pryor, Scott Mitten, Bryce Whitson Jr., Randy Perdue, Joshua Gillen, Robert O'Neill, Timothy Hamlet, Chris Thorman, Adam Eisenhower, Pedro Jose Luis, Tommy Amasi, Jason Eisenhower, Gary Woobot, all pitted in, including Garrett Helmlinger. I haven't spoken much of Garrett Helmlinger tonight, or Tommy Amasi, but they have been keeping a low profile all race long, it seems like, here tonight. And 05 of Tommy Amasi, status check, he currently is in the 25th place spot on pit road with a brand new machine. Oh man, unfortunately we have lost 2 more drivers, Christian DeFalco and the 39 of Octavia Rondoletto. We'll look forward to seeing these drivers back once again next week at Kansas Speedway. They also lost the 42 of David Elliott, unfortunately. Actually, looks like Octavio Rondeletto is getting back in. And here being shown with only 27 drivers on the lead lap. And the first driver one lap down is the 43 of Scott Brooks, who's been really striving, really working extra hard to get all laps back, because he was at one point 2 laps down. Well, we are 1 to green, being led by Cody McFadden with the help of Gary Whitson. The outside line being led by Nick Hunt with the help of 7 of Jacob Bell. We are going green. Green flag is out, and Cody McFadden finds the gas pedal. But the outside line here, 00 Nick Hunt was able, actually lost some time there with a miss shift in between gears 2 through 3. And now Nick Hunt being challenged by 13 of Gary B. Whitson, side by side. Gary Whitson has a preferred race groove and is bringing the 88 of John Sterling with him. So Nick Hunt just might be the odd man out. Still side. Oh, he almost makes contact with the 13 of Gary Whitson, but no harm done. And still side by side between turns 1 and 2. Yep, Nick Hunt doing all he can to maintain second place against Gary Whitson, because we've seen in tonight's race, hey, everybody who gets stuck on the outside line seems to be suffering, seems to be doing more harm than good to themselves. But Nick Hunt's doing well. Oh man, he actually maintained second place, surprisingly. 3 wide behind him between Gary Whitson, Hunter McDaniel, and John Sterling, and the caution flies this time around.
Oh man, that's going to be the 7 of Jacob Bell. Let's take a look here. It looks like he might have just lost it in the turn here. Little contact between him and the 86 that gets him into the outside of wall. Little damage, nothing major. Enough to bring out a caution here tonight.
Oh man, very unfortunate indeed. Yeah, for the drives involved in that, especially the 7 of Jacob Bell. Oh man, that's unfortunate. We just crossed the halfway mark right there. So here 89 laps in with 87 laps remaining. And we just got some word from Octavio on the letter of the 39. He lost connection, but he is back in the server. And for the back in the pack, the 3 of Garrett Helmlinger, who've been spoken much of here tonight. Currently in the 16th place spot after starting in the 26th place position. In that amazing looking Toyota Tundra. Amazing paint scheme. A lot of hard work goes into all these drivers' paints. And as we've been seeing all different sorts, kinds of paints pretty much all race long. And a lot more to come in the upcoming races. And here we have 27 drivers on the lead lap. Greg Bradshaw, first driver one lap down is, Greg Bradshaw with Kerry Cleaver right behind him. So both Kerry Cleaver and Greg Bradshaw will be having to race for the lucky dog if another caution were to come out here in the future. But up front, we are still being led by Cody McFadden, Nick Hunt second, Hunter McDaniel third, John Sterling fourth, Gary Whitson fifth, Jay Pryor 6th, Scott Mitten 7th, Bryce Whitson 8th, Curtis Vollmer 9th, and Ken Huber in the 10th place spot. And we are back 1 to green, still being led by Cody McFadden with the help of Hunter McDaniel on the inside. Outside line being led by 00 of Nick Hunt with the help of the 88 of John Sterling with a brand new machine. The pace car dips off and the green flag is out. Cody McFadden hesitates not. The outside line here, Nick Hunt is able to fall back in line. Well, looks like entering turn number 1. Hunter tosses it to the inside of Nick Hunt side by side. And Hunter just might edge him out of the exit of turn number 2. Yes, well, not quite. Well, slingshot engaged. Outside lane advantage for Nick Hunt in a drag race to turn 3. But still, Hunter had the preferred race groove and was able to get around Nick Hunt. At the same time, Nick Hunt got overtaken by both Hunter McDaniel and 88 of John Sterling. And the caution flies this time around.
That is going to be the 3 of Garrett Helmlinger as we pull up the instant replay here, see if we can see exactly what happened. Not sure if contact was made or if maybe he lost it on the end of the turn here. See if we can see. Ooh, maybe a little bit of contact there between the 91, but unfortunately the 3 goes around. Minor damage. Don't see any other damaged trucks, so that is going to be our 11th caution here at Milwaukee Mile. So this track is definitely giving these drivers something to handle.
Oh, absolutely. And yeah, very unfortunate for the drivers involved in that, especially the 3 of Garrett Helmlinger, who got some massive damage on that machine. Left side, right side, rear end as well. And the front end too, the left front is damaged, or the left front of the left side of the hood is damaged. But hopefully he's still able to keep up despite that, or has his backup truck for that matter. Well, going back up front here, Cody McFadden still leading, Hunter McDaniel second, John Sterling now moving up to 3rd place, Nick Hunt 4th, and Jay Pryor in the 5th place spot. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we can confirm this is one of the toughest tracks on iRacing. And yep, it's really giving these drivers something. It's giving them quite the challenge.
Well, I'll tell you what, though. I'm looking at a list here, Sean. Some interesting facts here. Milwaukee Speedway is the 2nd oldest operating motor speedway in the world. The Milwaukee Mile hosted at least one auto race every year from 1903 to 2015. So, well, that also does exclude when we were in the World War II. But I mean, just looking at some of the drivers that have competed here, you've got Walt Faulkner, you've got AJ Foyt, Al Unser, Bobby Unser, Mario Andretti, Darrell Waltrip, Bobby Allison, Davey Allison, you know, even the likes of Jeff Gordon, Dale Earnhardt Jr., and Danica Patrick. So, a lot of history at this track.
Oh, indeed, man. A lot of history. And these drivers here tonight as well tackling the exact same thing. And it's actually interesting, despite well, the thing about this track is that it is quite technical and very, very little room for error, because these drivers are very, very close. So any single mistake and it could be the end of it. And in the chat we have Octavio Tube in the chat. Oh yeah, that's Octavio Rondoletto. Oops. Yeah, I knew that. But speaking of Octavio Rondoletto, status check on him. He is back in the server. He has still been running. Actually, no, he's on pit road. 9 laps down. He had some difficulty, and the machine has some damage on it. Actually, he's now rolling off pit road as we speak, and still determined to get the job done despite. And we are back 1 to green, still being led by Cody McFadden with the help of John Sterling. The outside line now being led by Hunter McDaniel with the help of 00 Nick Hunt. What I've noticed about Nick Hunt when he's on the outside line up front, he has been struggling on the restarts. And now here, starting behind the 57 Hunter McDaniel, looks like he's actually been losing a lot more time on the restarts than any other time during the race, the whole entire race. This far, he had the Milwaukee Mile for the Active Pest Control 200, and these restarts could be the difference between gaining or losing spots. And here the drive is getting bunched up nice and tight, exiting turn number 4. Pace car dipping off. Pace car is off. The green flag is out. Big checkup on the inside line. And here Cody McFadden finds the gas pedal. And Hunter McDaniel saw it coming in time to maintain second place. Well scratched that. 88 of Sterling to the inside of McDaniel, side by side. Oh man, looks like Sterling tapped the apron, went sideways a little bit, and lost time to Hunter McDaniel, who's now occupying the outside of the leader, Cody McFadden. Cody McFadden, Hunter McDaniel side by side. McFadden to the inside, Hunter McDaniel on the outside. Who's gonna have who? Oh, that wants to make contact. No harm done. Toyota Tundra versus the Silverado. And entering turn number 1, the difference in braking points is able to put McFadden in favor of that race groove. And Jay Pryor is able to secure 3rd place against John Sterling. 3 wide, John Sterling, Nick Hunt, and Curtis Vollmer. Actually, 99 of Bryce Whitson Jr. as well in that. But able to go back down double wide. And now John Sterling has lost a lot of spots from 4th place to 8th place in 1 lap. And here John Sterling trying to play catch up to the inside of 99 of Bryce Whitson Jr., who's able to get around him off the exit of turn number 2. And a new race leader here on lap number 101, Hunter McDaniel, new race leader ahead of Cody McFadden. And going back to John Sterling, the odd man out, the only driver on the outside line, losing spots left and right, losing at least 1 spot with every single lap. So far lost 1 spot to Gary Whitson as we spoke, and now his next opponent is a 5-0 of Scott Mitten to his inside. Scott Mitten making his presence known on that inside lane. He has a preferred race groove entering turn number 1. Oh, contact up front, sideways. Oh, it drove into the wall. Entering turn number 1. Gonna see who exactly that was. That was Nick Hunt who got a piece of the action, and the caution has flown.
Yeah, it's going to be Nick Hunt, and I think the 81 of Travis Pryor. So let's go back here and see if we can see exactly what happened here. Is it looked like Nick Hunt was driving in. Oh, the 81 of Travis Pryor too hard on the brakes, got sideways. Nick Hunt trying to avoid him, got sideways. I think the 86 got a little bit of contact, or was that the 36? I think it was the 86. A little bit of contact there, but that was just the 81 of Travis Pryor losing it in the turn, and Nick Hunt trying to avoid him.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, that collected a lot more drivers than we actually thought. So Alex Kingsbury get a piece of that action. Tyler Hallman, yep, Nick Hunt himself, Randy Perdue, Joshua Gillett, Garrett Helmlinger, and Robert O'Neill as well. Actually, Robert O'Neill slammed on those brakes to avoid the trouble, so he was able to get around that. Actually, I was talking much of the 4-0 of Joshua Gillen, but he is still racing here tonight. Currently running in the 26th place spot behind the 91 of Robert O'Neill. And 0 of Nick Hunt, unfortunately going from hero to 0. Hopefully he still has a backup track as we speak. It's smoking as he goes down to pit road. So hopefully he still has it. Oh, yep, Nick Hunt is back to life, brand new machine, and back onto the racing surface he'll go before too long. In the updated top 10 this far, Hunter McDaniel is the leader, Jay Pryor second, Cody McFadden third, Curtis Vollmer fourth, Bryce Whitson Jr. fifth, Travis Pryor sixth, Gary B. Whitson seventh, John Sterling eighth, Ken Huber ninth, and a new driver to the top 10, the 41 of Pedro Jose Luis Buyones from 38th place to 10th place, being the heaviest mover this far, gaining 28 spots overall. And unfortunately, we've lost one more driver tonight, the 86 of Adam Eisenhower. And a new viewer in the chat, that is Nick Wall, Ghost Samson Motorsports 48. That is 48 of Curtis Vollmer. And welcome back, Nick Wall. Good to see you again. We are now back one to green, still being led by Hunter McDaniel with the help of Cody McFadden. The outside line being led by Jay Pryor with the help of the Lowe's Machine 48 of Curtis Vollmer. And on the inside in the line, we also have Bryce Whitson Jr., Gary Whitson, we have Ken Huber, and Tommy Haynes. And the outside line behind 48 of Vollmer, we have Travis Pryor, we have John Sterling, and Pedro Jose Luis as well on that inside line, but we are now going green as we speak. The green flag is out and Hunter McDaniel finds the gas pedal, and right behind him is his teammate, the 80 Jay Pryor. Third place drivers here, Cody McFadden and 48 of Curtis Vollmer, who were side by side there. Curtis almost killed two birds with one stone, McFadden and Jay Pryor. But so far he has a bigger issue to worry about, 64 of McFadden. McFadden in third place spot, Vollmer on the outside line here, left out high and dry is inside, so far occupied by the 81 of Travis Pryor. And looks like there Travis was able to bump Curtis Vollmer one spot, bumping himself up into the fourth place spot. And Curtis down to fifth place, and now Travis goes against the 64 of McFadden and succeeds, and now new to the top three. So we have the three Maverick Motorsports drivers, Hunter McDaniel, Jay Pryor, and Travis Pryor, first through third, respectively. And a Samson Motorsports driver here, Curtis Vollmer, in that Lowe's Machine with some damage in the rear end. But that's not stopping him whatsoever. He actually lost some time there, had some bad luck on the exit of turn number 4. But because of that, 99 of Bryce Whitson is creeping up on him. For the back in the pack, the 7 of Jacob Bell is taking names. He is back. He had some bad luck there. A couple of laps back, but is currently in the 11th place spot. Just got around the 17 of Tommy Haynes. And now his next victim is 64 of Cody McFadden. I haven't spoken much of this driver as well. 66, 68 of Ralph Vanderforst. Mr. High Side himself, kept a low profile all race long. And is now trying to sneak into the top 10. And the driver holding the keys and the door to the top 10 is a 7 of Jacob Bell. So Ralph has to go through him to succeed. Yep, Ralph Vanderforst doing just that, trying to go through Jacob Bell to get into the top 10 side by side off the exit of turn number 2. Great exit by Ralph Vanderforst. That is under the clear just yet. Actually entering turn 3, he drives it in hard and is able to get into the top 10. Congrats, Ralph Vanderforst on lap 113. Oh, Jacob Bell, bad luck off the exit of turn 4. For the Timothy Hamlet as well. Bad luck off turn 4. Both spin out off the exit of turn 4. And the caution flies. Let's back it up on Jacob Bell and see what happened.
As we take a look here, unfortunately also is going to include the 49 of Timothy Hamlet. Looks like they touched the apron there. Ooh, he's going to get into the Timothy Hamlet into the outside. Well, let's go here on Jacob Bell. He just lost it with the apron there, the rumble strip. Sent him around, but he was able to keep it down low and keep it off the wall. So no damage, no additional damage to the truck.
Oh, absolutely, yes. It's very unfortunate for both drivers at the exact same time. Very commendable on the job they did, minimizing the damage the best that they could. In this case, you know, speaking about the field and also just pretty much them saving it, they live to fight for another lap, for a couple of more laps. Here we now have 61 laps left here in tonight's race. Still being led by Hunter McDaniel with the help of Jay Pryor. Jay Pryor 2nd place, Travis Pryor 3rd, Curtis Voma 4th, Bryce Whitson Jr. 5th, rounding up the top 5. And we have a lucky dog this time around, 72 of Alex Kingsbury. The Lucran Automotive driver gets the wave around the pace car back to 1 lap down from 2 laps down. Congrats. And up front, the drivers who stayed out, the top 5 drivers have not pitted in 35 laps. They are all doing one thing. They are all either clutching it in or turning those motors off to maximize the fuel economy or save gas. We are back 1 to green, still being led by Hunter McDaniel with the help of Travis Pryor. Outside line being led by Jay Pryor with the assistance of the 48 of Curtis Vollmer. And some heavy front end damage on the 81 machine of Travis Pryor, but still doing some damage. And here we have in the third row, John Sterling and the 5-0 of Scott Mitten starting side by side. Tommy Haynes and Nick Hunt as well starting side by side. And Greg Bradshaw and Brian Switson Jr. as well, side by side. Exiting turn 4, the pace car dips off, the green flag flies, and Hunter McDaniel finds the gas pedal, gets a very good restart, and Jay Pryor able to fall back in line to secure a second place spot against 48 of Curtis Vollmer. Curtis Vollmer goes to the outside of 80 of Jay Pryor. Is going to make it stick? Not quite. He's able to maintain third place, but still being challenged by the 81 of Travis Pryor. Travis Pryor, Curtis Vollmer side by side, but Curtis Vollmer, the old man out, gets some bad luck off the exit of turn number 4. And now his new victim, new opponent is the 50 of Scott Mitten. Scott Mitten gets around him and now leaves room for the 88 of John Sterling to do the exact same thing. Yep, Curtis Vollmer trying to get back to the inside line to avoid losing time spots. So far here, yep, he's able to fall back in line and in between 88 of Sterling and the 00 of Nick Hunt. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Active Pest Control 200, round 2 of 10. Oh, the caution flies this time around. Gonna see what happened.
Oh, that's gonna be the 61 and the 3 getting together, and 3 getting a little squirrely down into the grass. Not major, just a little bit of contact there. Enough to bring out a caution, and that is going to be our 14th caution here tonight, Sean.
Oh, absolutely. Yes, very unfortunate here for the drivers involved in a very rough night for a lot of drivers out there. This track is really taking a toll on them. But you're not too worried, man. At this point, you know, they are used to it now. They're racing very close, and once again, the room for error is very tiny or nearly inexistent, so it makes it extra difficult. But next week, round number 3, traveling to Kansas Speedway for the Samson Motorsports 144. And the top 10 drivers: Hunter McDaniel, Jay Pryor, Travis Pryor, Scott Mitten, John Sterling, Bryce Whitson Jr., Ken Huber, Curtis Vollmer, Tommy Haynes, and Ralph Vanderforst, 1st through 10th respectively. And the 72 of Alex Kingsbury gets the wave around the pace car back on the lead lap this time around on lap 123. Congratulations. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Active Pest Control 200, round 2 of 10. This is the Extreme Motorsports 99.com Camping World Truck Series, brought to you by the Advanced Simulation Products, specializing in custom button boxes. And ladies and gentlemen, for those of you interested, the Extreme Motorsports 99 has a lot to offer. They do have both Oval Series and Road Series. So Monday nights, they do have the Rick Motec Sports Car Series. And on Monday, and also they also have the Pro Can-N Series as well. Tuesday nights, Truck Series, and Wednesday nights, the Xfinity Series. So you guys can join any of those based on experience, because they do place you in different series based on experience. Well, basically, if you go to Road Series, you can race, but when it comes to the oval side, they do place you in a series based on experience. Basically, the Pro K&N series on Monday nights is the beginner class, then followed by the track series, and then the Xfinity series. And they also had a Cup series last season, but it's not running this season. And once again, that is the extrememotorsports99.com. And ladies and gentlemen, a new viewer in the chat, that is John Marine. Welcome back, John Marine. Hope you're doing well, man. Hope you're doing well. It's good to see you. Well, we are back 1 to green, coming up with a 50-lap shootout. Yes, 50 laps once the green flag flies. The leader does have lane choice, so Hunter McDaniel, the leader, starting on the outside with the help of the 50 of Scott Mitten. The inside line being led by the Pryors. Jay Pryor, followed by the 81 of Travis Pryor. We are going green. A pace car dips off, the green flag is out, and Hunter McDaniel finds that loud pedal. The inside line here, Jay Pryor able to maintain second place, but a third place battle goes on between Travis Pryor and the 5-0 of Scott Mitten. Oh man, we have a big check up on the inside line. John Sterling, 39.99 of Bryce Wilson, 3 wide on the exit of turn number 2. They make it stick, and John Sterling backed out. Actually, John Sterling had some bad luck on the exit, went into the grass, and lost a lot of time spots as we spoke. Oh man, he's settling as we speak. He's settled for the 19th place spot. That's a lot of spots lost in one lap. 12 spots lost in one lap, actually. Well, ladies and gentlemen, with 49 laps left, we're going to take another commercial break. We'll be right back, so please stay tuned. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Online Sim Racing Network. As we continue tonight's race, the Active Pest Control 200, round number 2 of 10, part of the Extreme Motorsports 99.com Camping World Truck Series, brought to you by the Advanced Simulation Products, specializing in custom button boxes. Well, going back to tonight's race, here we are under caution. We had an incident there involving Gary Whitson and the 41 of Bullones. Unfortunately, that's going to be Pedro Jose Luis Bullones, the 41 machine. But here, this gave the chance for everybody to go down pit road and have their final pit stops of the evening. And as a result, we have a new race leader, the 3-0 of Ken Huber. Yes, Ken Huber, the new race leader. Scott Mitten second, Bryce Whitson third, Greg Bradshaw fourth, and Cody McFadden rounding up the top 5. We are being led by Ken Huber with the help of the 99 of Bryce Whitson on the inside line. The outside line being occupied by Scott Mitten with the help of Greg Bradshaw. We are going green this time around. The pace car dips, the green flag is out, and Ken Huber gets a commanding commanding lead against Scott Mitten and Bryce Whitson Jr., who are side by side for second place as we speak. And here Scott Mitten getting all sorts of squirrely between turns number 1 and 2, but off turn number 2, looks like Mitten lost the spots to Bryce Whitson Jr. and bumped himself down into the 3rd place spot. And right behind McFadden is side by side with 74 of Greg Bradshaw. Actually scratched that. Greg Bradshaw gets sucked into the wall off the exit of turn number 4 and lost some speed and momentum, and the spot 200 of Nick Hunt. Once again, the outside line, not the place to be on a start or restart, because everybody seems to have paid the price on the outside. It does seem to have been getting worse for them before it gets better. So far, Greg Bradshaw still on the outside and trying his best to get back in line. And look at that, the Gillen Motorsports driver. That is Gillen Motorsports driver 4-0 of Joshua Gillen in the top 10 behind Nick Hunt. Joshua Gillen to the inside of Greg Bradshaw, side by side, and right behind him is the 8-0 of Jay Pryor. Man, Greg Bradshaw so far having no luck. He seems to just be losing time with every single lap. He hasn't had an opportunity to get to the inside just yet, but that might be coming here before too long, so fingers crossed for that. Some 3 wide among the 74, Greg Bradshaw, 8-0, Jay Pryor, and Hunter McDaniel. Contact between Jay Pryor and Gillen. Oh man, Gillen sent it into the wall, but the green flag still stays out. Man, what a nice save by the drivers, and very unfortunate for the 40 of Joshua Gillen. Oh, and the caution flies this time around. Gonna see what happened.
Looks like just a couple drivers there just losing it. The 66 is around, so no major damage, no major contact, just drivers just losing it here as they're trying to navigate here around the Milwaukee Mile.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Looks like, yeah, Bobby Tinch saw an incident in front of him, and he slammed on those brakes, which sent the machine in a spin. Oh, actually, he made contact with the 13. Actually, that was he made contact with the 15 of Gary Woolbert, which spun his machine around and giving us that caution. But that's very unfortunate for all the drivers involved in that. But up front, we are still being led by Ken Huber, and we have 37 laps remaining. And scanning the whole field here so far, we have Ken Huber, who did start in the 4th place spot and currently in the lead. But at one point, he was in the back of the pack. Actually, 2 to 3 points, he was in the back of the pack 2 to 3 times. But he still found his way towards the front. Bryce Whitson Jr. from 12th place to 2nd. Scott Mitten from 15th place to 3rd. Cody McFadden has been up front from 11th place to 4th place, though, this far. And Jacob Bell as well has really been going up and down, rubber banding if you can, but currently now in the 5th place spot after starting in the 24th place position. Nick Hunt from 21st place to 6th. Hunter McDaniel from 17th place to 8th. And further down this list here we have Kerry Cleaver. Kerry Cleaver from the 30th place spot to 15th. And Mr. High Side himself, Ralph Vanderforst, from 23rd to 17th. And also not to forget the 91 of Robert O'Neill, 37th to 21st. And I haven't spoken much of the 71 of Chris Thorman tonight either, in that pro forma machine, currently behind the 48 of Curtis Vollmer in the 20th place spot. So with the way the race was going there early on in the beginning, everybody just pretty much getting used to the machine's handling, how difference in handling with the changes in racing conditions, or track conditions in this case. A lot of drivers decided to just hang back and keep those machines clean, because it ended up becoming a survival race. So we're gonna be seeing. We took a little bit of a bet out there, or I should say a poll, as to how many drivers you guys thought would come out with an unscratched machine. And we had only 2 viewers actually answer that question. They said zero drivers. So we're going to see exactly how true that's going to be before too long. And we are now 1 to green with a 33-lap shootout coming up. And we are being led by Ken Huber with the help of Scott Mitten. The outside line being led by Bryce Whitson with the help of Cody McFadden. A pace car dips off, the green flag is out, and Ken Huber does not hesitate. He finds that gas pedal, gets a great restart against second place driver Bryce Whitson Jr. And now 3rd place battle between Mitten and 64 of Cody McFadden, but the caution flies here. Quick caution on lap 143. Gonna see what happened.
This is going to be another big one. It's going to involve multiple trucks there. The 5, the 91 involved. Joshua Gillen involved. These trucks, I tell you what, it's Milwaukee Mile is being hard on these trucks out here, Sean.
Oh, indeed, man. And yeah, that's very unfortunate for every single driver involved in that. And as a result, we have lost 1 more driver, 72 of Alex Kingsbury, unfortunately. But look forward to seeing all these drivers back next week for round number 3. That's Samson Motorsports 144 at Kansas Speedway. That's going to be quite a race, and you know, the drivers have not been able to unleash these heavy beasts of competition here tonight at Milwaukee Mile, but they will be most definitely be able to do that next week at Kansas Speedway. So please, I hope you are looking forward to that as much as we are. So once again, next week at Kansas Speedway, and I did say this is round 2 of 10, ladies and gentlemen, because this is a 10-week regular race season followed by a 5-week chase series. I repeat, this is a 10-week regular race season followed by a 5-race chase series for a total of 15 races. So basically, the first 10 races are a chance for the drivers to get themselves locked into the chase, to be able to go against it or go at it for the championship. In this case, trying to dethrone the 57 of Hunter McDaniel. So we still have 8 races for the drivers to lock themselves in. And the lucky dog around the pace car was given to the 49 of Timothy Hamlet, back on the lead lap. So here we have 25 drivers on the lead lap. 25 drivers of 40 drivers. That's 40 drivers who started tonight's race. Only 25 drivers on the lead lap. Yes, it's been a very, very rough night for a lot of these drivers. But they'll be back with quite a vengeance next week at Kansas Speedway. So make sure you buckle up for that one as well. So scanning the field of some drivers that do not seem to have any damage on their machines. The leader up front, 3-0 of Ken Huber, seems to not have a single scratch on that beast. Very well dressed as well. Cody McFadden as well with a brand new clean machine, unscratched machine. Jacob Bell in the 5th place spot as well. A brand new unscratched machine looks like. Okay, Nick Hunt as well, unscratched machine. Jay Pryor in the exact same... Actually, no, Jay Pryor has some front-end damage on the machine. Gary Whitson, brand new machine. John Sterling as well, no damage on it. And same with Greg Bradshaw. That's about 6-7 drivers, no damage on the machines. That's way more than we thought would happen. But going back up front, we are back 1 to green. Going green this time around with a 28-lap shootout coming up. The green flag is out and Ken Huber finds the gas pedal. A great restart on his part. And this 99 of Bryce Whitson maintains 2nd place against Cody McFadden. Scott Minton maintains 4th place. And behind them we have the 7 of Jacob Bell on the inside of the 00 of Nick Hunt, side by side. Oh, Jacob Bell sideways off the exit of turn number 4. Enough for the 00 of Nick Hunt to propel a big noselead against him entering turn 1. Oh, Nick Hunt's machine pushes out way too wide, way too tight. As a result, all spots, all momentum, all speed has been lost by him. And now he's gone from 5th place to 11th place, actually to 9th place. Yep, Nick Hunt trying to play catch up on the outside of 13 of Gary Whitson. 88 of John Sterling to the inside of Nick Hunt and behind the 13 of Gary Whitson. The Exalta Chevy Silverado by John Sterling definitely putting on a show here tonight. And he got around the 00 of Nick Hunt successfully. And now he still has his eyes on the prize. And that prize being 13 of Whitson. And some bad news. We've lost one more driver tonight. The 5 of Randy Perdue, last week's winner. And here with 151 laps complete and 25 laps left in tonight's race, a lot of single file action going on. Well, some side bets are just now developing as we speak. 88 of John Sterling under fire from the 00 of Nick Hunt, side by side entering turn 1 as we speak. And the battle between these two drivers is attracting a lot of attention, and namely 48 of Curtis Vollmer and 17 of Tommy Haynes. But the 00 of Nick Hunt off the exit of turn 4 was able to get around the 88 of John Sterling, but John drives it in hard entering turn 1. And is able to maintain this spot against 48 of Curtis Vollmer, yes, successfully off the exit of 2. And for the back in the pack, the 4-0 of Joshua Gillen. Joshua Gillen here trying to play catch-up behind the 41 of Pedro Jose after making some contact there, entering turn number 3 during the last lap. But speaking of Pedro Luis got around the 98 of Dakota Craig, and that bumps Pedro up into the 20th place spot, and Dakota Craig out of the top 20. And my second match of the 15 of Gary Woobot tonight. Gary Woobot currently in the 24th place spot, now behind the 66 of Bobby Tinch, but no harm done. Bobby Tinch is the first driver, 1 lap down, hoping for a caution, in need of a caution, so he can be able to get his lap back with the lucky dog, because once again he's the first and only driver, 1 lap down. Oh, going out front, a driver spinning out. Nick Hunt sideways off the exit of turn 2. And the caution flies this time around.
As we take a look here at Nick Hunt, he was being followed by the 88 of Sterling. Oh, Sterling got into the back end of him, sent Nick around, side bump contact. Nick tried to save it, just was not able, and spun it around, bringing out another yellow with 19 laps to go.
Oh, absolutely very unfortunate for the drivers involved, especially the 00 of Nick Hunt, who was up there. But it has now been set back as a result of that incident right there. And here in tonight's race, we are less than 20 laps to go. That is, less than 20 laps to go. The most crucial laps of the, I should say, the final laps of tonight's race. And so far, the driver having the most laps on his tires and tank is the 74 of Greg Bradshaw, 52 laps on his tires. And the next driver matching up to him, actually the drivers in this case, would be the 30 of Ken Huber, Cody McFadden, and Bryce Whitson Jr. But that should not make too much of a difference here this late in the race. But going back up front, we are still being led by Ken Huber, Bryce Whitson Jr., Cody McFadden second, Bryce Whitson Jr. third, Jay Pryor fourth, and Scott Mitten in the 5th place spot. And the lucky dog being given to the 66 of Bobby Tinch. Yes, Bobby Tinch back on the lead lap this time around. Congratulations. And ladies and gentlemen, this is the Online Sim Racing Network with Joe Wyatt here. But here tonight we have David Everly and myself, Sean Zulu, in the booth. I was going to say Dre Broadcasting booth, but this is the Online Sim Racing booth. And those amazing, beautiful graphics you see right before you, courtesy of Joe White, right here with the Online Sim Racing Network. And for all the new viewers there in the chat, welcome to the Online Sim Racing Network. And for the new and existing viewers, if you have not yet already, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you get notified every single time the Online Sim Racing Network goes live. Because it is live almost every single day of the week with either myself, Tanner, David Everly, or Joe White. So once again, Online Sim Racing Network. Well, we are back 1 to green, and we have a 15-lap shootout coming up. 15 laps to go once the green flag flies. Ken Huber still leading with the help of 99 of Bryce Whitson Jr. The outside line being led by Cody McFadden with the help of the 80 of Jay Pryor. A pace car dips off and the green flag is out. Ken Huber finds the gas pedal and a good restart against the 64 of Cody McFadden in second place. And McFadden, oh, sideways McFadden on the caution flies entering turn 1 on lap 161.
Well, as we go back here to the replay, we're going to go back here because it looked like a lot of guys here involved, starting with McFadden here. So let's get up here with Cody McFadden. Take a look, see if we can see exactly what happened here. Looks like he was running. The 99 came in, just gave him a bump right there. Fortunately, the 80 of Jay Pryor went around as well. So we got a lot of front runners that got a little bit of damage there from that. So let's see if we can get another look here. Okay, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to, but this is going to be shake it up here with less than 15 to go now.
Oh, absolutely, man. That's very unfortunate for Cody McFadden, especially since he was all the way up into second place. And now less than 14 laps remaining in tonight's race. Hopefully he's able to still make up a lot more spots than he probably could have imagined, with this turn of events, sudden turn of events for him. But once again, the race is coming to an end. And now is when the positions really matter the most. But we are still being led by Ken Huber, Bryce Whitson Jr. second, Jay Pryor third, Travis Pryor fourth, and Scott Mitten in the fifth place spot. Yep, and a status check on the 80 of Jay Pryor. He is still in third place spot, but a very, very big dent in the left rear of that past TI Paints Chevy Silverado. And a lucky dog has been awarded, and that's to the 68 of Ralph Vanderforst. Ralph Vanderforst back on the lead lap on lap 163. Patty. Yeah, the lights on the pace car do turn off. We are 1 to green. Ken Huber in the lead with the help of Travis Pryor. I just scratched out Jay Pryor. And the outside being led by Bryce Whitson with the help of the 81 of Travis Pryor. Well, exiting turn number 4 here as we go green. The pace car dips with the green flag is now out, and on the inside, Ken Huber finds the gas pedal. A very great restart on his part, but Jay Pryor was caught sleeping, and now is on the inside of his teammate. They make contact, Jay Pryor and Travis Pryor, and that sends Travis Pryor up the track. Oh, his speed or momentum has been lost by him as it tries to play catch up behind 48 of Vollmer. Oh man, the caution flies this time around with 9 laps to go. Can I see what happened?
Oh, that's gonna involve the 00. Nick Hunt here as we pull up the instant replay here, see exactly what happened. Looked like a little 3 wide action, some contact between the 00 and the 36, and the 00 just loses it, but everybody else is able to get around him cleanly.
Oh man, most definitely very unfortunate for the drivers involved in that incident. We are still being led by Ken Huber, Jay Pryor 2nd, Bryce Whitson Jr. 3rd, Curtis Vollmer 4th, and Travis Pryor in that 5th place position. Less than 10 laps to go, ladies and gentlemen. Less than 10 laps to go. I like that, Pat. You know, when Jay Pryor and Travis made contact, yep, family means nothing to these two on the track. Yep, that goes out the window, man. I mean, that goes out the window when there's a lot on the line. You know, they're both trying to get themselves locked into the chase, but absolutely, that is a tough decision to make when it comes down to it. When they wave around the pace car, that was 64 of Cody McFadden back on the lead lap on lap 169. And during the last caution, Ralph Vanderforst got the waiver on the pace car, and I did say he got his lap back and was on the lead lap. But no, actually he went from 2 laps down to 1 lap down, so he is still 1 lap down behind Timothy Hamlet.
Well, Sean, after we go back green, the next flag is going to end the race.
Oh, yep, that's gonna make things extra interesting. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, everybody's gonna be going to be working extra hard to try and be in the best spot they can be, basically be as high up or as close to the front as they possibly can, so they can be able to be satisfied with their finish, knowing that the next flag ends the race, because as we speak, we have 7 laps to go. And the updated top 10, Ken Huber, Jay Pryor, Bryce Whitson Jr., Curtis Vollmer, Travis Pryor, Scott Mitten, Greg Bradshaw, Gary Whitson, Dakota Craig, and Tommy Haynes, 1st through 10th, respectively. And we are 1 to green, coming up to a 5-lap shootout once the green flag flies. So Ken Huber still leading, 99 of Bryce Whitson right behind him, 80 Jay Pryor leading the outside with the help of Curtis Vollmer. Ladies and gentlemen, the final restart of the evening coming up. So buckle up, enjoy the ride. Exiting turn 4, pace car dips off the green flag, is out, and Ken Huber gets a commanding restart. No hesitation, but a lot of determination. In about of second place between 99 and the 80 of Jay Pryor. And now Brian Switzer, his next victim is the 30 of Ken Huber. But off the exit of turn number 280, Jay Pryor gets around 99 of Whitson, who smacked the wall. Actually, Whitson lost 3 spots in one turn to the 48 of Vollmer, Travis Pryor, and Jay Pryor. And now Bryce Whitton trying to play catch up, is inside occupied by 74 of Greg Bradshaw as 50 Mitten goes sideways, entering turn number 1 under braking, but no harm done. Still green flag racing, nice save on his part, and Mitten right now under fire from a 13 of Gary Whitson. Scott Mitten high and dry, getting overtaken by 17 of Tommy Haynes, and the caution flies, and that's gonna end the race here tonight with 3 laps to go. We're gonna see what brought up the caution.
It looks like it's going to be involved in the 91 here as we go back and take a look here, see exactly. Actually, no, it's, see here, contact between the bump to the back, maybe. No, 57, 100 McDaniel around. 100 McDaniel just up. The 91 gives him just a little tap. He goes around, puts the 91 down in the grass. That is going to be enough to bring out the caution, Sean, and end this race.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, very unfortunate for all the drivers involved in that, especially Nick Hunt. Yeah, Nick Hunt has had the worst luck tonight, unfortunately. But yeah, you know, it is what it is. It was a very, very tough track tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Very, very tough track for the drivers out there. They tried their best, gave it 100%, and they'll be back again to release the unreleased beasts next week at Kansas Speedway. That's going to be an even better track in terms of competition. So be sure to look forward to tune in for that one as well. That's going to be the Samson Motorsports 144 Kansas Speedway Round 3 of 10 in the regular race season before the chase begins. And ladies and gentlemen, keep in mind that the regular race season here has 1 drop week. What that means is that the driver's worst race is going to be dropped. So for some of the drivers, this just might be their worst race, but you know, once again, the season is still very, very young, so there is no telling just yet. But going back up front, the leader, we are being led by 30 of Ken Huber, 80 Jay Pryor 2nd, Travis Pryor 3rd, Curtis Vollmer 4th, and Greg Bradshaw in the 5th place spot. And the leader up front, Ken Huber, representing the Aero Racing Team. That's Aero Racing Team. Gonna bring this thing home for his first win of the season. He's actually a new addition this season as well. Season number 10 of the Extreme Motorsports Track Series. Off the exit of turn number 4, Ken Huber brings this thing home unchallenged at pace speed 55 miles per hour for his first win of the season. So the official results here, the top 10, we have Ken Huber, Jay Pryor, Travis Pryor, Curtis Vollmer, Greg Bradshaw, Gary Whitson, Tommy Haynes, Scott Mitten, Dakota Craig, and Tommy Amasi, 1st through 10th respectively. Well, ladies and gentlemen, top 3 interviews coming up: Ken Huber, Jay Pryor, and Travis Pryor. So please stay tuned. Well, ladies and gentlemen, joined up in the booth by the top three drivers, Ken Huber, Jay Pryor, and Travis Pryor. Gonna start the interview off with tonight's race winner, the new addition, Aero Racing driver. That's Aero Racing driver, Ken Huber. How are you doing tonight, Ken?
Hey, how's it going?
Oh man, good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. It's been a long night.
Oh man, indeed. You had your hands full out there. Most likely one of the tougher, or maybe even the toughest track here on iRacing, and hopefully one of the toughest tracks you have to face all season long here in the Extreme Motorsports Track Series. But how's your experience tonight?
Oh yeah, I had a good time. This track is pretty tough. It's actually one of my favorites, but I actually just got the track here like a week ago when I joined the league, so I haven't had any run time since the old NASCAR 2003 series. So it was pretty satisfying actually getting a win tonight.
Wow, man, that's very impressive. You know, first race on iRacing on this track, and very successful. And talk about your experience tonight, because it seemed like you were up and down the track all race long. Actually, 3 to 4 times you went to the back of the pack, and still made your way towards the front.
Yeah, that was a situation with tires. Some people weren't pitting at certain times, and I was picking off times, and I wasn't doing it on purpose. It was just kind of an educated guess of when I needed tires, and I was just hoping to stay out of trouble. And so, yeah, I was having to work my way to the front every time I do that. So, and it's kind of scary doing that, as you know.
Oh, absolutely, man. Well, what a job well done, despite that. You know, but very, very successful indeed, regardless. And having your first win and locking yourself into the chase, so congrats. Before I let you go, any final words? Before I let you go.
Yeah, hey, thanks. I want to thank the sponsors. You know, if you need a button box, they sponsor the league, and I think your site. You guys need to check it out, and I really appreciate what the guys do. The league administrators for Extreme Motorsports 99 really have their act together and try to create a fair atmosphere and race situation.
Well, brother, congrats on your success here tonight, doing the Aero Racing team extra proud as a solo driver. Look forward to seeing you again next week. Have a good night. Go celebrate.
All right, thank you.
And that was the 3-0 Ken Huber, but next in line is the 8-0 of Jay Pryor, Maverick Motorsports driver and last night's Pro K&N Series winner. Get a copy there, Jay?
Yeah, Sean, you got me?
Loud and clear, man. How are you doing tonight?
Oh, doing pretty good. This is a tough track, but like Ken said, I like it a lot. And Maverick Motorsports put on a good show tonight. I hate that happened to Hunter, but Travis and I pulling that second, third off. It was a good night.
Oh, absolutely, man. And yeah, on your part, it seemed like a lot of setbacks, and I've not seen, I should admit, I do not believe we've seen your machine this beat up in a very long time. Actually, yeah, it's been a while since we saw that machine that beat up. But, you know, still very successful night regardless. And talk about how, what was the most difficult part about tonight's race for you?
Well, just, you know, once, like Ken was saying, you know, the pack was jumbled up with new tires and no tires. So you just had to really be on top of that and not run over the top of somebody. But it was a really good race tonight, and you know I would have liked had that couple more laps of green to go after the number 30 truck, but he did a really good job tonight.
Oh, absolutely, man, and congrats on the success here tonight, despite the setbacks. This was one of the tougher tracks. It seemed like for a lot of those drivers had a very rough night. But next week we are traveling to Kansas Speedway. Jay, what are expectations for Kansas?
Kansas is one of my favorite tracks. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And, you know, this Maverick Motorsports team, I can't say enough about them. And I just want to thank Travis Pryor and Hunter McDaniel for helping me out. And, you know, this is a rookie season, and top 10 last week at Daytona and a top 5 tonight. That's a good start.
Oh, absolutely. Well, congrats on your success last night in the Pro K&N Series. And tonight, we look forward to seeing you one spot higher in this series next week at Kansas Speedway. Well, in final words, where do you go? In final words.
Yeah, hey, thank you, Sean. Everybody up in the booth. I got to thank Pat T.I. Paints for putting these paint schemes on our cars. And Bryce and Ken Ladd, admins, doing a great job. And Rick Donathan, thank you for giving us a place to race.
Well, congrats once again, brother, and see you again next week. Have a good night. Go celebrate.
Thank you, Sean.
And that was a Maverick Motorsports driver, Jay Pryor, and right behind him is another Maverick Motorsports driver, the second ever champion of the Extreme Motorsports 99.com Pro K&N Series. Got a go up there, Travis?
Yes, I do. How y'all doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good with the outcome of that race. I can't be upset with that.
Oh, I can only imagine, man. You know, having better success, how I should say, better luck in finishing position than last week at Daytona for the first race of the season. And at one point there, we saw you guys first through third. The Maverick Motorsports team, it was Hunter McDaniel, yourself, including Jay Pryor. But then, you know, some incidents ended up occurring, which did end up spreading you guys out. And what was you guys' strategy coming into tonight's race? Because despite a lot of drivers having some difficulty throughout the track, a lot of teammates out there, you guys were able to still stay together as a team.
Really, just through the night, we just knew track position was going to be a big deal, and just make sure you had plenty of fuel to go the right way, and make sure you can pit at the latest moment you can, and as soon as you can, so you still have the good balance of plenty of fuel to make it, but yet have still good tires, make it through the field. So, you know, fresh tires definitely made a big difference, at least for our vantage point. We thought it did. So we just knew to stick together, be smooth, try to stay out of trouble, and we should be able to get a good finish out of the race.
Oh, absolutely, and very, very nicely done on your part as a driver and as a team together. And also, congrats on your success here tonight there, Milwaukee Speedway, the Milwaukee Mile. But next week, man, traveling to Kansas Speedway, a totally different beast from Milwaukee Mile. And what do you think is the best approach to take for that track from your experience?
To me, the best experience to take to any track is just practice and time on the track, whether you're by yourself or with a field full of cars and you can't get enough practice. So to me, that's the biggest vantage point to me. I definitely know Maverick Motorsports will definitely be putting our time in, make sure we can be at the best of our abilities to try to get another good finish tonight, and hopefully have the whole team out there to finish that one. So, you know, just practice and, you know, keep a clean truck, and you'll be there at the end.
Oh, very, very nicely said, and congrats once again here tonight. And we look forward to seeing you 2 spots higher next week at Kansas Speedway. Any final words before you go?
Yeah, I just want to still thanks Pat TI Paints for making these awesome race cars we have tonight. Thanks for the support. As every week, it's awesome to have in there. Y'all do a great job broadcasting. Can't thank y'all enough. Ken Ladd, Bryson, and Stack do a great job admin this league, and just like Jay said, Rick does a great job giving us a place to race. So can't thank all of them enough.
Well, congrats, brother, on your success here tonight, and see you again next week at Kansas Speedway. Go celebrate.
Thank you.
That was the 81 of Travis Pryor, Maverick Motorsports driver. So we had 2 Maverick Motorsports drivers and an Aero Racing driver, Ken Huber. So Ken Huber, Jay Pryor, Travis Pryor, first through third respectively. And that rounds up our top 3 interviews. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for being a part of the action tonight. The Active Pest Control 200, round 2 of 10, part of the Extreme Motorsports 99.com Camping World Truck Series, brought to you by the Advanced Simulation Products, specializing in custom button boxes. Once again, that's Advanced Simulation Products, specializing in custom button boxes. So check them out. And you watch this live on the Online Sim Racing Network. And thanks to Joe White and David Everly for making this possible. And the next race we have is next week, round number 3. The Samson Motorsports 144. That's the Samson Motorsports 144 at Kansas Speedway. Round number 3 of 10. I am Sean Zulu and David Everly behind the cameras, and be sure to tune in tomorrow night with the Extreme Motorsports 99.com Xfinity Series right here on the Online Sim Racing Network with David Everly and Tana Sharp. So have a good night. I am Sean Zulu. Have a good night.